Everyone dreams of breakthroughs, of that one big moment that changes everything. But the truth? Transformation doesn't come from a giant leap. It comes from one small step, taken with consistency, repeated with intention. Think about it. A tree doesn't become tall overnight. A mountain isn't formed in a day. And no successful person, not a single one, woke up powerful without walking through thousands of invisible moments. No one ever clapped for it. But in a world chasing viral success, we ignore the quiet power of progress. We scroll past it. We overlook it. Yet it's this invisible rhythm, this micro-momentum, that separates those who last from those who fade. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a starting point. You don't need to be ready. You need to move, even slightly. Small wins have a psychological superpower. They rewire your brain to believe you're capable. One glass of water instead of soda, one page read before bed, one deep breath instead of snapping in anger. Each act seems insignificant, but stack them, and you build a new identity, a version of you that trusts your own effort. According to Atomic Habits by James Clear, the most powerful changes in life are not the ones we shout about. They're the ones we do in silence. When no one is watching, when motivation isn't loud, when discipline carries the weight, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. And the good news? You don't need a landslide. You just need more yeses than nos. More moments where you choose alignment over impulse. Small wins are how you recover, how you rebuild, how you restart. No one can steal them from you. No economy can crash them. No trend can replace them. They belong to you, built in your hands, stored in your system, carried in your spirit. If you want long-term peace, don't aim for massive outcomes. Aim for the kind that show up months later, disguised as confidence, health, clarity, and control. So today, forget about the big picture for a moment. Zoom in. What's the one small win you can create before the day ends? Because one day, that tiny decision might become the moment that saved your life. We often overestimate what we can do in a day and underestimate what we can do in a year. That's the trap. The illusion that progress should feel dramatic, that if it's not loud, it's not working. But real growth is quiet, subtle, even boring. And that's why most people abandon it too early, because small wins don't give you instant applause. No spotlight, no dopamine rush, just a calm whisper. You did it, keep going. And for many, that's not enough. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. It is not the lack of goals that destroys potential. It is the addiction to immediate results. Let's talk science. Psychologists call this the goal gradient effect. We push harder when we feel closer to the finish line. That's why small wins work. They give the brain evidence. And when the brain sees evidence, it trusts. It moves. Progress becomes addictive in the healthiest way possible. Consider the athlete who doesn't miss a training day, not because they feel like it, but because they've trained their identity. The writer who types just 300 words, but does it every morning. The entrepreneur who builds systems before chasing sales. They understand momentum is earned, not found. And momentum doesn't need motivation. It needs rhythm. Consistency beats intensity. Always has, always will. A blazing fire is exciting, but it burns out fast. A single candle lit daily, it becomes a ritual. It lasts. And here's something deeper, a spiritual truth. Almost. Each small win is a signal to the universe, a sign that you're honoring the life you've been given. You're not just checking boxers, you're building alignment between who you are and who you could be. In The Slight Edge, author Jeff Olson says, the simple things that lead to success are all easy to do, but they're also just as easy not to do. And that's the war, not between big and small, but between simple and skipped. So ask yourself, are you willing to trust the power of the small? Because one tiny shift today, waking up 10 minutes earlier, taking a walk instead of scrolling, writing your goals in a notebook, might be the very shift that rewires your future. We live in a highlight reel world. Instagram shows the body transformation, not the quiet, lonely nights at the gym. YouTube shows the million subscriber plaque, not the 50 videos that got 12 views. News celebrates the IPO, not the sleepless months the founder spent doubting every decision. Success is always shown in full bloom, never in the seed phase. But real life, it happens in the dark, in silence, in ordinary days when nothing impressive is happening, but something powerful is. That's where micro-momentum is born. Not from big breakthroughs, but from tiny habits that go unnoticed by everyone except you. You made your bed. You walked instead of scrolled. You said no to junk food. You read 3 pages instead of watching TV. These don't seem like until you repeat them for 30, 60, 90 days. Then something strange happens. Your identity shifts. You start seeing yourself as the kind of person who follows through. Not perfectly, but consistently enough to build trust with yourself. And that's the foundation of confidence. Not fake hype, not external praise, just the quiet confidence of someone who keeps their own promises. Now think about this. How many people do you know who start strong and fade quietly? They post a gym selfie for 3 days, then disappear. They launch a project, then quit when it doesn't go viral. They meditate for a week, then forget it ever mattered. Why? Because they mistake hype for discipline. They think momentum comes from excitement, but true momentum comes from systems. From designing your environment to support your goals. Even on the hard days, like author James Clear wrote in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Systems aren't flashy. They don't make great Instagram stories, but they win, quietly, slowly, deeply. Perfectionism is the silent killer of progress. It wears a noble mask, demanding excellence, high standards, flawlessness, but beneath that mask, insecurity, fear, paralysis. The perfectionist waits for the perfect time to start, waits to feel fully ready, waits for the stars to align. And while they wait, life moves on, opportunities pass, habits weaken, self-doubt grows. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be in motion, even messy motion, especially messy motion, because in the real world, done is better than perfect. Progress beats perfection, and small wins are built on imperfection. The first workout, clumsy. The first video, awkward. The first cold shower, miserable. The first journal entry, shallow, but you did it. And that's everything. Because each imperfect action weakens the grip of perfectionism. You start realizing, I can survive looking foolish. I can be a beginner and still be valuable. I don't need validation to keep going. That mindset, that grit, is what separates dreamers from doers. Psychologists call this the sunk cost of effort. Every time you push through resistance, your mind starts to believe the journey is worth continuing, even when no one sees, even when there's no applause, even when you're the only one tracking the small win. In fact, the smaller the win, the more powerful the shift, because it proves you're no longer waiting for external permission. You are the spark. You are the momentum. You are the system. Micro-momentum teaches you something perfectionism never can. You don't need to feel confident to take action, but you must take action to build confidence. Who are you becoming every time you act? Not in 5 years, not when you hit your goals, but right now, in this very moment, your identity is forming. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. Wake up early once, you cast a vote for self-discipline. Read 10 pages, you vote for becoming a learner. Say no to distractions, you vote for inner strength. It might not feel like much, but identity isn't formed in grand moments. It's formed in quiet, invisible repetition. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, says, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Here's the power of small wins. They're not just progress toward a goal. They are proof of your new identity. The artist is not someone who sells paintings. The artist is someone who paints every day. The healthy person isn't someone who hits a fitness goal. It's someone who moves, nourishes, and honors their body every day. The confident person, they don't magically feel bold. They take action despite fear, over and over again, until courage becomes familiar. The brain loves consistency. When it sees you repeating even a small behavior, it begins to align your identity to match. Neuroscience shows this. Repetition strengthens neural pathways. That's how habits are built. That's how beliefs are rewired. And this is why small wins matter more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. What really fuels momentum, not just movement, not just habits, but emotion. Behind every small win is a feeling, a spark, that whispers, I can do this. Maybe I'm not stuck. What if this time is different? And it's that emotional lift, not just the act itself, that builds momentum. Momentum is misunderstood. Most people think it's speed or constant motion, but true momentum isn't fast. It's felt. Let's break it down. A runner doesn't gain momentum just by running faster. They gain it when they feel strong, aligned, alive in their stride. A creator doesn't get momentum from uploading every day. They get it when they see their ideas resonate, even with one person. A person trying to change their life doesn't move forward by working harder. They move when they feel like their effort means something. This is what small wins unlock. A deep emotional shift that tells your nervous system, I'm moving forward, I'm safe, I'm becoming better. According to research from Harvard Business School, the single most powerful factor in boosting emotions, motivation, and perception during a workday is making progress in meaningful work. Not finishing, not achieving, just making progress. This means that when you're stuck in self-doubt, the best way to break out isn't to a breakthrough. It is a tiny step with emotional reward. Send the email, clean the desk, go for the 5-minute walk, write 100 words. Say no, just once. These aren't productivity hacks, they're momentum anchors. And once you feel that first shift, your energy begins to rise. Your focus sharpens, your hope returns. Why? Because success is not just built on tasks. It's built on emotion-fueled action that becomes self-reinforcing. That's why micro-momentum works. Not because you're doing a lot, but because your system begins to believe again. It's no longer about, can I do this? It becomes, I'm already doing it. Let's keep going. Momentum isn't just an emotional state. It's also a design. Think of it this way. If you always need motivation to take action, you'll lose. But if your environment pulls you into action, with minimal resistance, you'll win, even when motivation fades. This is the real power of micro-momentum systems. Let's look at how to engineer your surroundings, routines, and energy in a way that makes small wins automatic, even on your worst days. Rule 1. Design for the starting line, not the finish line. Big goals, focus on the end, writing the book, running the marathon, launching the brand. But small wins focus on the start. Instead of write 1,000 words, gives make your goal open the dock and write one sentence. Instead of go to the gym, gives make your goal put on workout clothes and walk for 5 minutes. Instead of launch a bit. History doesn't remember the small steps, but it's built on them. When you study icons, not their highlight reels, but their process, a quiet truth emerges. Small wins weren't a tactic. They were the foundation. Let's look at how some of the most successful minds, athletes, inventors, and spiritual figures use micromomentum, whether consciously or not. Thomas Edison, the patience of failure. Everyone knows Edison for inventing the light bulb. What most people forget? He failed over 1,000 times before it worked. But here's what made him different. He never saw it as failure. He reframed every experiment as a win in learning. I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work. His lab wasn't chasing perfection. It was designed for one experiment gives one, tweak gives one insight. And that's what created history. Kobe Bryant. The 4 a.m. Club. Kobe didn't become legendary because of games. He became legendary because of his mornings. He once said, while they're sleeping, I'm working. While they're eating, I'm working. While they're partying, I'm training. But here's what's key. His daily goal wasn't to dominate. It was to get just 1% better. One more shot, one better dribble, one cleaner free throw. Small wins stacked. And over time, that separated him from 99.9% of players. Not by talent, but by habit. Buddha the path is the practice in spiritual traditions. We often think enlightenment came in a moment. But truthfully, the great sages reached stillness through repetition. Siddhartha Gautama the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree for days, breathing, watching, not chasing success, just returning again and again. That return to silence, to stillness, to presence is the micro-momentum of the soul. And the lesson. Peace isn't found in arrival. It's found in daily attention. James Clear, the atomic author. You know Atomic Habits. Millions do. But few know that James Clear wrote 2 articles per week for 3 years before that book. No viral posts, no bestsellers, just quiet, consistent delivery. One insight, one post, one rep. That's how a book became a movement, and how a personal habit became a global system. Why these stories matter. When we see the result, the athlete winning, the monk smiling, the inventor glowing, we assume they're special, but they weren't born different. They just honored the power of starting small and never stop stacking. Big dreams need small rituals. Big moments come from small choices. Big success is a byproduct of micro-momentum. This is the age of anxiety, of pressure, comparison, burnout, endless tabs. And in this loud digital world, it's easy to forget. You don't have to fix your whole life overnight. You just have to take one clear, kind step. Let's explore how small wins are not just motivational, but medicinal in a world that demands speed, perfection, and dopamine. 1. Mental health and Modern anxiety often comes from this belief. I need to get everything together now. When you're overwhelmed, the brain goes into cognitive freeze. Fight, flight, or scroll. But here's what breaks that cycle. A win that's so small, it feels doable. Drinking a glass of water, sending one message, cleaning just one corner, going outside for 2 minutes. These aren't fixes, they're grounding anchors. Because small wins signal to your brain, you're not stuck, you're in motion. 2. Burnout and work pressure. When work feels like a never-ending treadmill, your energy isn't the problem, it's your relationship with progress. Micro-momentum resets this. Instead of finish the project, try. Write 100 words, create one slide, do a 15-minute block, then pause. Your nervous system begins to relax. Why? Because the task isn't the threat anymore. Your approach is safe. Momentum heals burnout, but only if it's gentle and visible. 3. Self-image and confidence in a world of filters, likes, and edits. Confidence often collapses under one lie. Everyone else is ahead. Here's what breaks that illusion. A single promise kept to yourself. One workout, not a one day of no sugar, not perfection. One outfit worn proudly, not needing validation. Each of these is a small win, and when tracked honestly, they rebuild identity from within. I'm becoming someone I can trust. 4. Digital overwhelm and ADHD. The modern mind is fractured. Switching tabs, apps, notifications, dopamine flooding, then crashing. But what saves attention isn't quitting everything. It's creating one frictionless win. A 5-minute focus timer. One task written down and crossed off. One screen-free morning ritual. These small systems don't fight distraction. They redirect it. Gently, consistently, effectively. Attention isn't built by control. It's built by rhythm. The core truth, most missed. When you're tired, overwhelmed, or doubting yourself? Don't push harder. Zoom in, shrink the win, soften the rules, because real strength isn't shown in extremes. It's built in the invisible rituals no one applauds. Small wins are how you return to yourself, quietly, consistently, with dignity. You've made it this far. That itself is a small win. Now, let's talk about how you turn this from a concept into a lifestyle, because micro-momentum isn't just a productivity hack. It's a way of living, healing, and building without burning out. 1. Build a micro-momentum system. Start by designing your version of daily progress. Keep it stupidly simple. Ask yourself, what are 3 areas I want progress in? What is the smallest visible action I can take daily in each? Example, goal micro in action, fitness, 5 push-ups, or a 2-minute stretch focus, 1 task written, down, and done. Inner peace, 2-minute breath, a gratitude note, track it, but never punish yourself for missing a day. Progress is a direction, not a scoreboard. 2. Create identity-based momentum, forget motivation. Ask this instead. What kind of person would do this? Then act as if, for 30 seconds. Not, I need to be productive. Say, I'm the kind of person who shows up. Each small win becomes proof. This is who I am now. That's how you rewire something. Through identity-based action, not performance pressure. 3. Replace willpower with rituals. Willpower fades, emotions change, but rituals remain. Turn your small wins into fixed rituals. Journal with tea every morning? Walk call instead of scrolling. Reflect on 1 win before sleep. Over time, they become anchors in chaos. When life is uncertain, these rituals whisper, you still know how to move. 4. Let grace guide the gaps. You will miss days. You'll forget. You'll fall off. But the moment you return, you win again. Micro-momentum isn't about never stopping. It's about always starting again, gently. That's the mindset of sustainable success. No guilt, just return. 1 small win. This is how lives change, not in viral moments, but in quiet resilience. Final words, what you're really building. Every time you honor a micro-win, you strengthen your nervous system, you repair your relationship with progress, you protect your joy from burnout, you plant trust in your future self. In a world that glorifies the massive, be the one who masters the micro, because from the smallest wins come the strongest roots, the clearest minds, and the most peaceful power. If this video moved you, share 1 small win you'll commit to today. Write it in the comments. Let others be inspired by your start.